Okay, so let us understand what is this Java, why we are going to use the Java now and all. So we'll have the introduction session today. Then we'll discuss more on that. As we go on, we'll be learning more and more. Okay. So first let us know what is this Java, where the Java, who has been developed as far as the Java has been developed by whom. When you look into the history, so around in 1980s, Java was designed. So a few set of people headed by James Gosling. So he designed, he was heading the team. Okay, and the team was managed by a group of, a company called Sun Microsystems. But now this Java is being taken care by the Oracle Corporation is being taken care. So initially it was introduced by the Sun Microsystems and it was headed by the James Gosling. So one of the member of that particular team is Herbert Shield. So where you see that we have one textbook is there, what you call the Java Complete Reference. The textbook is written by that person only. Okay, so let's see this. So why? So in 1995 they gave the name as Java. So before to that they gave the name as Oak, but because of the what do you call the copyright issues, they could not have the name called Oak because already the name called Oak was used by some other language. So they had to change the name to Java. Okay, right then. So why the Java came into picture for us now? So when initially when they wanted to have an some software they wanted to have it for the consumer electronics. What do you mean by consumer electronics means? It is something like you're talking about the ACs, fridge, okay, or a washing machine or a oven. All these are what you call the consumer electronics. Initially, when they wanted to have a language which is going to support the consumer electronics, it was very difficult for them. So once you are writing an application for one electronic good, and then you want to use the same software into some other one, it was not possible by using the existing softwares. Then what they did is they bought in and they thought of having something which is going to be platform independent like concept. So what do you mean by platform independent means the place on which it is working. So maybe anything like I'm using a washing machine, I'm using an AC, or I'm using a computer, okay, or I'm using a mobile, whatever may be the device I'm going to use it. So on that device, it should work for me. Okay, the software should work for me in all the devices with little modifications or with no modifications for me, right? That's why the reason of what you call our Java came into picture for us. Okay, so when they wanted to have it, they wanted to have something, the concept what you call platform independent. So what is this platform? Platform is a place where you're working. When you talk about the platform, it can be the operating system on which you're working, or it can be the browser, right? Operating system can be the browser, or it can be the operating system or the browser, whatever you call it as it's an operating, it's a platform. The place on which we are working, it's called a platform here. Now, we talk about our Java, so Java doesn't give me directly the operating system. It will not allow you to interact directly with the operating system, but it is going to have something what you call it as JVM concept is going to be there. We'll discuss what is this concept of JVM and JRE we are having. So that we'll discuss what is this JVM, JRE and all that. We'll discuss one by one. So this, by having a concept what you call platform independent, they could achieve it so that the same application can be run on different consumer electronics. So whatever may be the electronic device that you're going to use it, on that your application can be executed. Before to Java, if you look in, so there were programming languages were there which were platform dependent. That means if I'm writing a program for one operating system, that it cannot be used for another operating system or for another platform. Able to understand? For example, let us say I'm writing a program for Windows operating system. If I'm writing it, I can use it only for the Windows. Okay, once the program is being compiled, okay, I can use it only for the Windows operating system. In case if I want to use it on Linux operating system, so again the code has to be changed. So minimum code has to be changed and depends upon the kind of language that you're going to use. You may need to change a lot of code has to be changed, or you may make the minimum changes has to be made so that it works on another operating system. Yeah. Hello. Okay. So with the minimum changes, we can execute it on other operating system. You could run it. Okay. The best example for that is C language. So you might have heard about C language, right? C was the one which we're going to be having. What if I'm writing an application for one operating system? So once it has been compiled, you cannot run that one on some other operating system. You cannot run that one. Again, you need to recompile it and some changes has to be made so that it works for me another operating system. So like that. But in case of the Java, that is not there for us. We need not to worry about it because it's a platform independent. Now comes the question, how this been achieved in our Java? So what about the C language? So generally what happens is when you compile your programs in C language, what will happen? It will be converting into executable file, we call it as. It is going to convert to executable file or what you call exe, we call it as. Like for example, you talk about your mobile. In your mobile, what will happen? So I want to install an application, I want to install an app, I want to install on my mobile. So what do we do? So let us say that you want to play a game called, what is that game you want to play? PUBG you want to play now on your mobile. So how do you play that mobile, game called PUBG? What is the requirement for you? I need to have that particular app, right? Now, let us say that my friend is having that particular app. So how do you share that app now? Your friend is having that app, PUBG app is there. So you want to get it from him. What do you do? You'll be sharing it. Okay, which file they'll be sending it to you? Which is the file you'll get?
.apk file.
Very good, very good. It is the .apk file for us. So we'll be using the APK file. So by using this APK file, you can install the PUBG game on your machine. Something like that on the Windows operating system. If I want to install some application I want to install, I require an exe file. .exe file is required. Like in your mobiles, you have the .apk file. Like this on your Windows operating system, you need to have an exe file is required. Now, so once I compile my program, it will convert to exe, and that exe file I can use it and run it on any other operating, on the Windows operating system. I can execute it without the help of the source. Like in case of your mobile, as you're going to have the APK file to run the to install that, like that here we'll have the exe files are going to be there for us in our Windows. Understood? No, but in case of a Java, it is not going to convert to exe. It is not going to convert. But what it is going to do is it is converting it to .class file. It is going to convert. It is going to convert it to .class. We'll discuss that. We'll see the practical examples and all. We'll see, and we'll discuss more on that. So we need to. It will be creating a .class file. It is going to create, which we call it as a bytecode. It is called. It is called the bytecode. Okay. Now this bytecode is going to be common for all the operating systems or any device. So let us say that I'm designing an application for my mobile, or I'm designing an application for an AC machine, or I'm going to use it for a washing machine, whatever it is the operating, the device that I'm going to design. For all these devices, it is going to convert the .class file. It is going to convert. So this .class file is common to all the devices or to all the operating systems for me. Whatever may be the operating system I'm going to have it. Maybe it's a Linux, or it is Windows, or it is Solaris, okay, or maybe it's a Mac. So any operating system that we talk about, it is going to common, that is going to be only a .class file for us, right? Okay, so if you want to execute this .class file, you need something what you call it as a JDK. You need to have, sorry, not JDK, JVM is required for me, or what you call the JRE is required for me, Java Runtime Environment. So once we have the Java Runtime Environment is there on your operating system or on the platform, you can execute the .class files can be executed. We'll discuss how to create the .class file and all that. We'll discuss one by one. We'll discuss. Okay. When the Java was introduced to the world, they introduced the Java to the world, showing how beautiful the Java can make your internet. So they showed the how the Java is going to change the internet, the world, how it's going to be there. So what they did is they designed the applets. So what we call it, initially they showed how the Java is going to be making your internet is going to be beautiful thing, like what you call interactive. So you can make your website to be interactive, or what you call, we can design the dynamic pages can be designed by using the Java. Okay. Generally, when you talk about the internet, right? So we can have static pages can be designed, and we can also have the dynamic pages can be designed. What is a static page? Means static page is one whose content will not be changing. But whereas a dynamic page is one whose content will be changing. For example, let us say you are using the Amazon or you're using the Flipkart site you're going to open. So based upon the login, what you're going to provide, you see that the home page is going to be customized for you. You'll see different pages will be seeing it. If I'm not going to log in with any name, I'll see a different page. When I'm logging in, I'll see a different page. If I'm logging with my name, I can also see the other things like if I'm doing some purchases and all, if I'm making it, I can see all the purchases what I have made. If others is logging, if someone else is going to log in, then they will see their own information be seeing it. So this is what you call the dynamic page. So if I want to design the dynamic page, we can design the dynamic pages by using our Java. Okay. Now, when you talk about designing the applications, by using Java, we can have two different types of applications can be designed. Not only using Java, any programming language you take, so we can have two different types of applications can be designed. One is called a standalone application. The other one is called an application for the internet. We can have standalone application as well as we can have the applications for the internet. So what is the standalone application means? The application works for a single machine, or the application works on a small area network, or what you call a local area network, we call LAN. So the application works in the LAN environment for me. And there are some applications which will be running on a wide area network. So wide area network applications are called the internet applications, and this small area network, or what we call local area networks, are called the standalone applications, we call them. You understand? So we can design both the applications. Either we can have the application for a desktop or a standalone application, or we can have the application for a wide area network, what we call a internet. So this generally the small area network we call it as a LAN. So the bigger network we call it as a wide area network, or what we call the internet. So we can design the applications for the internet as well as we can design the applications for the desktop. So desktop means one single machine. It's what you call a desktop, we call it. So where I'm going to use my Java, so you can use Java in almost all the places you can use it. Okay, it's not, there is no restriction for the usage of your Java. We are seeing that Java is being used in a mobile also, it is being used. We are using it in almost all the electronic devices. We are using the Java, it's going to be used. Java is going to be used almost everywhere. We can have something like you can have different types of variety of applications can be designed in Java. But there is one limitations with our Java. So generally when we talk about your programs, we have system applications, other one is general application. System application means what? Like operating system. So you want to design an operating system for a desktop, it is not possible using the Java. We are not using Java to design the operating systems like Windows or something like that. But we are using our Java on top of the operating system only we are going to use it. We are not going to use for designing the operating system. Or you talk about a mobile. In your mobile also we have an operating system. Any guess? What is the operating system in there for the mobile?
Okay. Android.
Better? Little more? So there is another operating system is there. So Android is designed on top of something else.
iOS.
No, iOS again a different operating system. FunTouch. FunTouch is something. It's the same like again. It's a different flavor of your operating system only. Android only. It's a different flavor. So they have made some small changes. They have made it. They call it as, some people call it FunTouch. They call it as Color OS. Some other people call it Realme UI. Like that, they have given their own names. They have done the customization. They have done it. Customization is what? Making small changes. It's called customization. Okay. Any idea? Okay, Android is on top of something else. Okay, it's a Linux. So our Android is going to be designed on top of the Linux operating system. So first you have the Linux will be there. On top of the Linux, it's going to have the Android is going to be there for us. Right? Okay, that's why your Java is not, it's not used for designing the operating system. So Linux is the operating system. On top of the Linux, the Android is going to be there for us. Okay. So any application that you talk about, you can have it, you can do it, design it by using your Java. you talk about a game, you talk about a graphical user interface, whatever the type of application you wanted, you can design using the Java. Okay. So why this Java? What are the features? Why the Java was so popular for us? No, it was popular for us because of so many reasons. So one among the reason is it's a simple operating. I mean, it's a simple programming language. The syntax and all, if you look in, it's going to be very simple for you. Actually, to say it looks like the most popular programming language called C. The coding style and all that, if you look in, so the way how you write the program and all, it looks almost similar to the C language. Okay, and moreover, it has been designed by looking into the C language. The syntax and everything is going to be same, as simple as your C language. And moreover, remember, so your Java is said to be an object-oriented programming language. So what is this object-oriented programming language? Why you are going to use this? Now, before we look into the Java, so the other languages like C, so they were having a different style. Now, what is this object-oriented programming means? It's a style or the way how I'm going to write my coding. It's called the style of programming or the methodology that you are going to write. Now, why this methodology called the object-oriented programming came into picture means because in your real world, whatever we see around us, it's only an object for us. Okay, whatever we see around is only an object. So if I want to write a program for the object, if I want to write, then I need the style or the way that my programming should be as object-oriented. We'll discuss this object-oriented style. So how do you write the program for the object-oriented and all that we'll discuss. Little later we'll discuss. So as you're going to learn things, we'll be talking about that. We already told you that Java is a platform independent. That means it is not having a constraint for any operating system. So any operating system that is there for me, I can use my Java on that. So provided you need to have only one thing that is required, what I call the Java runtime environment is required, and your dot class file is required. So to run the application, it is not required for you to have a source program is not required. Source program is the program which we are writing. It's called a source program, right? The end program what you get, there is a dot class file that is enough for you to execute your application. So you don't require the source program is not required. We'll discuss again. So what is in the source and all that. And another important thing that you have to remember is Java is called a robust programming language. So what do you mean by robust means it is a dependable. So for example, if you talk about a programming language, the older one like C, it was not a dependable operating, I mean dependable language it is. Why means because C language had so many different problems it had. Like one beautiful problem that we had in case of C language is called memory leakage. So what do you mean by memory leakage means? If I'm writing a very big application, if I'm going to use it, and that in that I'm going to use a lot of memory, I'm going to use it, then what happens? Automatically we used to have a problem of memory leakage problem used to be there. So to avoid that one, in Java there is a concept called garbage collection. So if you are using if you are not using the memory, automatically the memory cleanup is going to be taken care by the garbage collector. So that is those facilities are there for us inbuilt for us in our C language, sorry, in our Java. So where it makes it much more dependable and what you call it's a robust application it's called that. And one important thing regarding our Java is a secured programming language. What do you mean by secured means? For example, let us say that you want to enter into someone's home you want to enter or some office you want to enter or something like that. Let's say there is a security guard is there. So what he'll do? So he'll be cross verifying that who is coming and who is going out. They'll be doing the cross verification. Something like that. Our Java is going to provide us an environment where the applications will be running in. We call them as a sandbox environment. Like we have a box like thing. So inside that box, you're going to execute all your code and all. For example, let us say I'm having 4 walls are going to be there. My room is being bounded with the 4 walls. I'm playing with a ball. Okay, I'm there in my 4 walls. I've been surrounded with my walls now. I'm playing a ball. Okay, let us say you are playing a cricket only. You are playing it. So it's been surrounded with the complete room is been closed. So where the ball will go? So whatever maybe the shots I'm playing, where the ball will go? It will be there inside your room only, right? If I'm playing it inside the room, okay, whatever with the shots I'm hitting, the ball will be there only inside my room only. But you cannot go, your ball cannot go outside the room. Like that, when you talk about your Java applications, when I'm running my Java application, it is going to provide us a sandbox concept like that, it is going to provide. It gives me an environment where you can have the security will be there for your application. Now remember, Java has lots of restrictions will be there. It will not allow, you cannot write a program which is going to interact with your operating system directly. So internally, there is something called the JVM or the JRE is going to be there. So this JRE will make sure that you are not going to write an illegal code which will interact with your operating system, right? So that's why your Java applications are going to be secured applications for us. Okay, so Java applications are going to be distributed applications. So what do you mean by distributed means? I can write an application which runs on multiple machines. See, generally when you talk about a program can be executed on a single machine, or the same program can be placed into multiple machines and it can be made to be executed on multiple machines. So if I'm going to place my program in multiple machines and I'm executing it, so you call it a distributed application. I'm going to have an application where I'm designing for one machine. Okay, in the same machine, I divide it into smaller parts and then I'm executing it. It's called multi-threaded application, we call it as. You have to understand the difference between the multi-threaded and distributed. Distributed, same program is available for you on the multiple machines. Okay, and then you're going to execute them. If multiple machines are involved, you call it a distributed application. If only one machine is involved, it's called a multi-threaded application, we call it as. We'll discuss how to have the multi-threaded applications as we are going to learn the Java for us. Okay, so we have some other features like swings. So where what are these swings means? The swings are one which will help me to design the GUI applications, what you call the graphical user interface. Okay, we also have the concept of drag and drop, where you can drag something from some other application, you can drop it on it. Like for example, you have Gmail is there. So in Gmail, I'm just dragging and dropping a file. You see that automatically what happened, the file is going to be attached to your mail like that. So we have the concept what you call drag and drop concept, we have it. Okay, we also have two-dimensional, we can have the sounds. Okay, we also have what you call remote method invocation. What do you mean by RMI or remote method invocation means? So let us say I'm having an application running on one machine. You can call the methods or the objects what are there in this machine from some other machine. Okay, so that concept is called RMI. So let's not worry more about this one. We'll be talking about them as we're going to learn our Java and all that. Now, when you talk about this Java virtual machine, so virtual machine is one which is going to be loaded on top of your operating system. So we have the operating system is going to be there. On top of the operating system, so we are going to have the JVM will be there. So this JVM will be acting as a virtual machine like concept. Okay, so you'll not be directly, as I said you that you'll not be directly interacting with your operating system, but in turn your JVM is going to interact with your operating system. As a part of the JVM, we'll be having the JRE will be there, the runtime environment will be there for us. And other important thing one have to remember, we said what Java is platform independent, we said, but remember it is platform independent. So that means the compiled code what I'm going to get, it's common to all the operating system, but the JVM is going to be different for the different operating system. Why this JVM is going to be different for the different operating system means, because see, if I want to talk to you, I should know your language. I should know your language. That means if my program wants to talk to operating system, my program should know how to talk to the operating system. The communication, it should be knowing how to communicate with my operating system. But whereas in your Java, so it is not going to talk directly to the operating system, but in turn, there is something called JVM or the JRE is going to be there. This will help me to talk to my operating system. Understood? So when I want to talk to the operating system, I should know how to talk to the operating system. That means my JVM will know how to talk to the operating system. My application doesn't talk to the operating system. My application will be executed by the JVM, and in turn, the JVM will be interacting with my operating system. Now, that's the reason why the JVM is going to be different for the different operating system. We'll discuss that. We'll explain you. We'll take the example a little more. We'll see that. Okay. There is something called Java Development Kit. There is something called the Java Development Kit, what you call JDK. So what is JDK? Why do I need this JDK means? JDK is something which will help me to design my Java programs. I want to write my Java programs and all I want to write. Then I require a software called JDK. Or we also call them as J2SC, we call it as. So there are different versions of Java is going to be there for you. One of the version of your Java is J2SE, which is Java 2 standard edition, we call it as. There are different versions of Java is there. Standard edition is there, micro edition is there, enterprise edition is there. If I'm going to develop the application for the internet, then I'll be using J2EE, I'll be using what you call Java 2 enterprise edition, I'll be using it. If I'm designing my application for a smaller device like mobile, I'll be using J2ME. Okay, so we call it as Java 2 mobile edition, you call it as, or we call it as micro edition, we call it as, right? So depending upon your requirement, either you can have the J2ME or J2SE or J2W. So these you can make use of it and you can develop your program. Let's see what exactly we are talking about. Now let us say what I'm doing now is I'm using a browser now. I want to download my JDK. So we said that, remember, the most important thing is, so if you want to write an application for your Java, so you need to have the software, what you call JDK software is required, or J2SE software is required for us. Now, what I'm doing is I'm going to my browser, open the browser, and then search for JDK download. Okay, so I'm just saying JDK download. I'm saying, I'm not saying for the Windows operating system. My screen is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
Give me a minute, yes. Okay, now what I'm doing is I want to download the Java software. Okay, let us say I don't know this JDK also. I'll say Java download, I'll say. Right? I'm opening my browser and I'm saying Java download. Now you see that the first link it's going to show me download Java for Windows, it is showing it. So I didn't say for Windows, I said only Java download. Okay, forget about this one also. Just you come down a little more, you can just come down. You'll also see one more link will be there. So from oracle.com. So you see one more link for the Oracle. Now I'm selecting this link for Oracle. Now if you look into this one, now you see, it says Java SE, that is software development kit. Okay. So different versions it is showing you, like 18, 17, like the Java 17, Java 18 versions it is showing you. I'm working with my 18, so I'll select the 18 there. And in addition to this, if you just come down there, you see Linux it is showing, Mac OS it is showing, Windows it is showing. Remember, based upon the operating system, what you're working, so the software has to be downloaded according to your need, according to your operating system. Remember, Java is independent of the operating system, but the code that what I'm using it for compiling my programs and all that, so that is software is going to be different for the different operating system. It's no. So based upon your requirement, you have to use this operating system has to be changed. Now I'm working with my Windows. I'll select Windows. Okay. If you're working with Linux, you have to select Linux. So if you're working with the Mac, you need to select the Mac operating system. Okay. So I'm working with my Windows. Right. Then, so here we have this. See, you can see now. So x64 is there. So you can see now it's a 64-bit is going to be there. So either you want to have the installer, you want to have it, or you have the MSI installer is there. So any of these things you can install on your machine. Now, the most important thing is you need to find out you're going to use 32-bit operating system or 64-bit operating system you're going to use. You need to find out. How do you find out which operating system you're using it? You can go to your My Computer properties. Okay, this PC is there, right? For this PC properties, you can find out. Okay, I'll just give a right click here on this PC. You can go for the properties. So in the properties, you'll be seeing, so what is the kind of operating system you're going to use it. So you can see system type is 64-bit operating system it is. Okay, so you need to select the 64-bit operating system. This is your 64-bit, you're working with 64-bit operating system. So when I'm going to download also, it is going to show me the same x64 it is going to show. So the other one is x86 will be saying it 32-bit. Now automatically what it has done, it has selected me the based upon the operating system what I'm going to use, it has already selected for me. Now click here, it will download. Okay, so once it is being downloaded, it's very simple to, once after the download is being completed, you just give a double click on the file, it starts installing that particular file. Okay, so it will ask you next, select the option next, finally it's going to be, installation is going to be done for you. Okay, getting it what I said? Any doubts how to install? Like you just practice it. So you try to download the JDK and then try to install on your machine. And if you have any difficulties, let me know. I'll help you out. Right? Okay. Yeah. Any other questions here? Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Fine. Try to download and install it. So you have any difficulties, no issues, we'll discuss about that. So actually we are seeing the version 18 there, but 19 also has been released for us. If you want, you can also download the 19, Java 19 also can be downloaded. So we are going to have the stable version. So we are going to use Java 18, we are going to download it and we can use it. Now, how do I know that my Java is available on my machine or not means? Okay. Simple thing, go to the command prompt. I'm using my Windows key plus R access. It will take me to the command prompt. So in my command prompt, I'm using Java followed with version. Okay, so Java version I'm giving it. So when you say Java version, it's going to tell me what is the version of Java that you're going to use. Okay. So I'm going to see what is the version of my Java I'm going to install. I have installed on my machine. I can find out by using this Java -version. Okay. So next comes in, so how do we write our Java programs? So where do we need to write the Java program? So if I want to write my Java program, I'll be using a simple editors, will be using it. Simple editors or what you call simple text editors, we call it as. Either you can use a simple text editor, you can make use of it and you can type your Java programs, or you can make use of what you call IDEs, we can make use of it. So what is this IDE means? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. We'll discuss what is this IDE. First, we'll see one or two programs. We'll see how to use it with the help of Notepad. Then we'll discuss how to use the IDEs. We'll discuss the IDEs little later. Now, so how do I type? Where do I need to type my program? So if I want to type my Java programs, I'll be using Notepad. So what I have done is I have used Windows key I press and then I type. I'm just trying to select the Notepad. Yes, I got this Notepad application. I'm selecting this Notepad application. I'm going to select it. Okay. Right. Once I get my Notepad application, so here I can start typing my Java program can be typed in. So after typing of your program, you need to save your program. So let me show you the steps. The first step is you need to open the Notepad. I'm talking about a simple one. Okay, so you'll be opening the Notepad. Then second thing is save the application. Save the program. Okay, but remember here important thing is the extension of your program should be as .java. You have to give the extension of the program as .java has to be given. Then, so how do I compile my program? So to compile my program, so I'm going to use a command called Java C. I'm going to use it. Following with, I'm going to use the file name. I'm going to use .java. Then next step, what we need to do, we need to run the application. So we need to run the application. So how do we run the application means we are going to use a command called Java followed with class name will be using it. Using class name will be using it to run the application. Okay. Now remember all these commands you'll be doing it manually. Java C you have to type it, Java you have to type it, everything you have to do it on your own. Okay. So let's take an example. before we talk about the example, we talk about the structure of your application. So what is the structure? So structure means what? How I'm following certain rules and regulations, how my application should be typed, how my program should be typed in. So this is what you call structure you have to follow. So what is the structure that you need to follow is, so we'll be using optionally, you can have public, then for class is mandatory, then you need to give the class name. I'm supposed to give the name of my class. I'm just writing a shortcut name there, class name. Then open the flower brace. Then inside this, you'll be writing public static void main, will be writing it. Then so here we'll be passing the arguments there, string args it is. Then so you write some commands, you'll be writing it. So what are the commands that you want, whatever the work you want to do it, that commands will be writing. Then close the brace and then close one more brace. So this brace is for the main. This is for my main part. And this is for my class. Two braces will be closing it. So this is the program structure that you have to follow when you are going to type a Java program. Right? So example, let us say that you want to have some program where you want to print, okay, let us say I want to print the hello world. I want to type the hello world program. Before that, so 1 second. See here, I'm stopping the, the Zoom link. I'm stopping it again. Use the same link and join the class immediately. I'm not going to stop the class. I'll continue with the same link. Okay. I want to write an application where I want to print the message, welcome to Huddle Rise. So what I'm doing is I'm writing the class, then I'm giving a class name as first I'm giving. This is my first program, so I'm giving the name as first. Not necessary that it should be only first, you can write second also, no issues. Nobody will ask you, this is the first program, but you're giving a name as second. No, nobody will ask you like that. Or, okay, let's say this is a program where I'm going to print the welcome message. So what I do is I'll give a class name called welcome. Any name that you want, you can give it, nothing like that. Okay, what name has to be given? This is the only name has to be given. No, there is no such rules are not there. General convention is what? So what is the difference between convention and rule there? So what is the rule between, I mean, difference between convention and rule? See, rule is something which you have to follow. Convention is something which you may follow, you may not follow. Right? For example, we say traffic rules. So traffic rule is what? You have to follow. If you're not following, if you're not following the traffic rule, what will happen? Nobody will ask you, right?
Fine.
Oh, you have to pay the fine for it, right? You have to pay the fine if you're not following the traffic rule. Understood? But whereas when you say it's a traffic convention, you said. So one convention, like for example, there is a festival is there. So generally on the festival, wearing a new clothes is compulsory. No, it's only optional, right? If you want, you can wear the new clothes, or it's left to you that you want to wear it or not, right? That's called convention. So wearing the new clothes on a festival is only convention for us, right? Like that. Okay. Here we are going to follow some convention. What is the convention? I'm giving class name as capital. First letter is going to be my capital letter. The rest I'm writing in the small letters, right? See, Java is also going to follow the same convention. For example, I'm having system is the name of a class, so it follows the capital letter. String is there. This is also a name of a class, so it follows the capital letter. Java follows that. It's better you to follow it. And everybody, whoever the Java programmers, they are writing the Java program, everybody will follow the same convention. Understood? Okay. So after typing of your program, we said what? So the first step is you need to type, open the notepad, type the program, and then I need to save my program with the extension .java. So then, so if I want to save my program, so I'll go to my file menu, select the option, save. When I'm going to save it, it'll ask me the location where you're going to save your program. I'm going to put my program into the documents folder. Okay. Let us say it's the J31 is my folder. So here I want to save my program. Now, the name of my class is welcome. Okay. So I will also type the class file name also as welcome.java. I'm giving it. I'm giving my file name as welcome.java. This is also a convention. This is also a convention. What is that convention? The class name and file name should be same. Is only the convention. What happens if I'm not following that? We'll discuss that. Okay. Right. The convention is, so what the class name is there, the same file name I'm going to use it. That's my convention. You would understand? So my convention is my class name and file name are same for me. The name I'm giving it as welcome.java here. So the name of the class is welcome. Okay, this is the convention I'm going to follow it. Right, I said save. Now this is save for me. Now comes the question, how do I compile my program? So we already said, so how to compile our program. So how do we compile the program? We are using a command called javac followed with the file name. So let us see this. So what we did, we typed a program, everything okay, class, welcome, everything we typed it. I'm just writing shortcut here. So this is what I did. I saved the file name is welcome.java. I gave it. So how do I compile? For compiling, I need to use javac followed with welcome.java. I have to use it. How do I compile? Sorry, to run the application, Java followed with welcome. So what is that we said welcome? It's a class name. See, we said what? Java followed with class name you have to use. So what is the name of the class we gave? Welcome. So I'm writing Java followed with welcome. Let us see this. I'll go to my command prompt. Okay. So where is my program is there for me? It is there in my J31. Oh, sorry. Okay. I'll go to my users folder. So then admin documents. Okay. Then J31. Now, if I look dir command, if I'm using it, it's an operating system command. You see now there is a file called welcome.java is there. What I will do is, for my convenience, I'll delete everything now here. Delete star dot star, I'm doing it. That means I'm deleting all my programs. Yes, I want to delete. I'll go back to my Java program. I'll save it again. So why I've deleted is only for your convenience sake. I've done that. Yeah. Now I'll just see dir. And there is nothing is there. Only one file is there called welcome.java file is there. Now I want to compile it. So for compiling, we said Java C followed with the file name. So why is the file name? It is welcome.java. Okay, and I press enter. You see that it is going to do the compilation, is going to do it. After the successful compilation is going to be done, I'll show you dir now. I'm executing the command dir. Dir, what is the help of this? What is the use of this command called dir? It shows me the list of files that are available for me in my directory. Okay, that is in my folder. Whatever the files are there, you can see that. Now, when I'm using the dir command, what happened? It showed me welcome.java file we have created. After compilation, it has created the welcome.class file is created. Now I want to execute. I'll say Java followed with the class name. So what is my name of my class? It is welcome. So you need to give the welcome there. See, now you see the message, welcome to Huddlewise. The message is printed for us on screen. The message is printed for us on screen. Okay, you understood this, the first step, how we are doing it. So let me know you have any difficulty in this one. So I'll explain you again here. So what I'm doing is, so I'm typing my program. Okay, so with the name class name I have given it. This one I have saved with the name as welcome.java. Okay, then to compile it, I'm going to use Java C welcome.java. Now here what it did, so after compilation, it has created for me welcome.class file has been created. Then to execute it, I'm using the welcome Java welcome I have given it. Okay, understood? Now let me, okay. Now I'll go back to my program. This is the first method what I've done. What I'm doing here is, I'll change the name of my class. So I'll just say it is first. Understood? Now what I'm doing? So everything is same. We are making small changes. So what are the changes that we are going to see? We'll just have a look. See, I created instead of class welcome. What I'm doing? First I'm giving. So what is the file name I have given? Welcome.java only. File name I have not changed. I have changed only the class name I have changed. Understood what I have done? See. So I created a class called first. This is saved in a file called welcome.java. Okay. So let us go back. So how do you compile now? To compile the program, we said Java C file name, right? Okay. Let us see this. So Java C. Now again, for our understanding, better understanding of things, I delete the dot class file. Then start a class as such. So what I'm doing, I'm just seeing the dir. It says having only welcome.java file is there. It's a fresh again for us. We have created only welcome.java. Now I want to compile my program. To compile, we said what is the command we are going to use it? Java C. Now what is that Java C? It is the file name. So Java C followed with file name I'm giving it. Okay. So I'm writing the Java C file name, right? So what is the file name for me? It's welcome.java. Now I'll press enter. Now it is compiled for me. So after this compilation, what we need to do? The command is to run the application Java class name. It is class name. Java followed with the class name. Earlier, what we did? Java, we gave welcome. Earlier, we gave Java welcome. Now, what is my class name? First. So let me, before I execute, I'll give the dir command and I press enter. So what has happened now? It has created that class file is what? First only. Remember, able to understand. So the class name is first. So after I compile, it is going to create first class only. Earlier you had welcome. So you get the command as Java welcome, you give it. Now we are giving to what? Java first we gave it. Now we have to Java followed with first. And I press enter. So you get the output. Now let us say no, I don't want to follow this method. What I did previously. No, what we did previously, we gave Java welcome only we gave, right? Java C welcome.java we said, then Java we said welcome. Now let me use the same thing, Java. Now I'm writing welcome now. I'm writing Java welcome. And I press enter. Now what is happening? It gives me the error. What is the error? Could not find or load main class. What is the class name? Welcome. Now what is happening? It is giving me the it's giving me the exception now. It said there is an error. So class not found exception will be generated called welcome. Understood? So we had our class name called first. So I have to use only Java followed with the class name only. So what is my class name? It is first. So I have to use the same thing. Understood? Now you understood why the convention we are going to follow class name and file name both will be same. Remember in Java, when I'm going to compile my program, it looks the file name and class name should be same. It automatically understands that you are having a file called first.class is there. It'll assume that in that it is there what welcome class, first class will be there. If it sees a file name called welcome.class, it understands that there is a file called the class is there called welcome inside the welcome.class file. Understood? So that is a Java convention. The way how the Java works is it always looks for the same class name and file name. Okay, it'll assume that it is there only in that one. So if I'm giving some other name, for example, let us say outside, you're going to enter into some building. Let us say outside they gave it as what? They said it as zoo. Outside the building, they are written it as zoo. I'm entering inside. It is internal, it is not a zoo, it is a cinema theater. What you will feel? What you will feel? You will not feel anything, right? What do you think now? Outside, it has been written as a zoo. But when you enter inside, it is cinema theater. Or the other side. Let us say that you have expectation, you want to go to a new movie. What is a new movie? See, suddenly I ask you a new movie name, you are not able to tell. Okay, I'll tell you older movie, F3. Okay, right. No, there is a movie there called F3, I want to go. So what I did, okay, I've seen F3 board is there, everything is there, cinema theater, they have written cinema theater. What is the name? Nearby we have? Multiplex only, yeah? Okay, in the way to multiplex, they are written outside and then the board is F3. I'm entering into that. Internally, I found it is a zoo, it is not a theater. There are animals are there inside that lion and all that. What do you people feel? Yeah, where I have entered, when I have, oh, yes, you have a disappointment. Very good, very good. Right, you have a disappointment will be there. Then you feel what unnecessarily they have put the board as cinema theater with a lot of expectations. I came in, I found that it's not a cinema theater, but internally it's a zoo, right? Okay, something like that. What happens is in our Java also, they follow the conventions, they follow it, and you have to follow the same conventions. The file name and class name, they use the same class name and file name. By Java, it understands that the same class will be there in the same file. Okay, understood? Like that convention, you have to also follow that. So don't try to violate that convention. Okay. But still, see, there are things are there where if Java forces you to do it. So for example, here we said normal class we have taken. So if I'm writing public class, then Java forces you should have in the same file name. If I'm writing a public class name, if I'm writing, my class name and file name must match. If I'm writing if I'm writing a public class, if I'm not writing public class, then class name file name need not match. If I'm writing public class, it must match for me. Otherwise, it will not allow me to compile also. Right? Okay. Fine. Okay, we'll do one thing. We'll stop the class here. We'll continue on next session. We'll continue tomorrow. We'll continue by same 10:30. We'll continue, not by 11, but we'll continue by 10:30. Okay. So any questions? Any questions you have? Right? Any questions? Any questions?
Sir, where we can run this by application, sir?
Where we can run? I mean, I didn't get the answer question.
That means by we have saved the application file.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we need to open in the command box, sir.
Right.
Or,
See, actually, there are two ways of running the application. Okay. So when you want to run the application, so one thing is what you have to do all these commands, you have to do it. What is that? I need to type the command Java C, Java, all these commands, you have to type it on your own. Okay. So I have to type all these commands, I have to type. For this, I'll be going to the DOS prompt first. So I'm going to the command prompt. So first going to command prompt. I'm going to command prompt. Or you call it as a DOS prompt. You also call it as a DOS prompt. Okay, first I need to go to my DOS prompt and then I'm going to type everything. So for typing the program, it's okay. Notepad can be used from the Windows itself. So for compiling and all, you'll go to the DOS prompt, you compile it, and then you do it. All the things you're going to do it. 1 second. So my screen is visible?
no, sir.
Right. Okay. So first I'll be going to my DOS prompt, and then in that I'll be compiling and everything. I have to give manually all the commands you have to give it. Compiling, execution, all the commands you have to give on your own. This is one method. Okay. There is another method. So where you do not have to do all these things. We can use what IDE can be used. So what is this IDE? We call it as integrated. We have the integrated development environment. We have it. Okay. So what is this integrated development environment? This is called some tool. We have it. Okay. This is some software or what you call a tool. So we have the tool or software like Eclipse. We have this software called Eclipse. So many softwares are there like Eclipse, NetBeans. Okay, so we have a software like NetBeans, Eclipse, IntelliJ. Okay, IntelliJ. Like there's so many different softwares are there. What we call different tools are there, which we call them as IDEs. So what is this IDE stands for? Means integrated development environment. What is the use of these tools? These tools will help me to type the program. Okay, this will help me to type the program. Okay, they'll also help me to compile my program. They'll also help me to run the program. So compilation, run, everything can do it from same place. From a single place, I can do the compilation, typing of a program, okay, execution of my code, and we also call it a debug. So what is my debug? Debug means removing the errors in my application. So all this debugging, running, compiling, every typing, everything can do it from same place. So that is what my IDE will help me to do it. So like for example, Eclipse. We'll not talk about Eclipse right now. We'll talk about the Eclipse little later. We'll talk about, okay, because it's going to give us lots of facilities are going to be there. That we'll talk about that one later. So right now we'll talk about only the simple editors. We'll talk about like Notepad. If I'm using Notepad for typing, I have to use a Notepad. Okay, for compilation, I need to go to my DOS prompt. I need to give a Java C command to execute the test to see the result of it. I have to use Java for the class name I have to use. So like this, all the commands you have to give it manually, one by one command you have to give it. But whereas when I'm using my IDE, all these are going to be done at one stage. It is going to do it. That we'll discuss later. Understood now? So when I want to do it, this is how I'm going to do it. So for typing the program, now we are using Notepad. Compilation, we'll go to the DOS prompt. We'll use the Java C followed by the file name. Okay, execution, Java followed with the class name you're going to do it. Right. Later we'll see how to use the Eclipse. Yeah. So any other questions? You understood now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So any others?
Sir, for how many days we have to stay in Bangalore, sir?
In Bangalore, you have to stay minimum 1.5 month. So you need to, you will be finishing in 1.5 month time.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay. So fine, we'll stop here. Okay, we'll continue on tomorrow by 10:30.